Hello.
Welcome, everybody.
This
So
is
we're
I
here
know a
for
G.
Amanda Marie. First episode in lieu of murder.
I'm really nervous, but this is gonna be good. Ah,
So this is I know a G's debut into the podcast world. So be easy on her
it
today.
is, and I know a G is my rap name. I guess you can call me I know if you wish, but um,
Her name is Inoa. She just writes it out the way she writes it, so you know how to say it.
thank you,
I know a
Amanda,
G.
for that explanation. Thank you. I know a G.
No, you don't. You
Um,
are.
I am a G. I should change it to I am a G, but um but anyways, first episode. What are we talking about today?
We're going to talk about Baby Reindeer. I don't know how many people have followed that mini series that they had on Netflix or followed the situation, but we're going to talk all about it today. Now, before we start, let me say this. Some of these messages are fucking nuts, guys. Like it's crazy. So I want y'all to make sure you stay tuned for that part. But what we're going to start with is kind of a summary. For those of you that haven't watched it, you need to go watch it. But for those of you that haven't watched it, we're going to start with a summary.
Yeah, it is I will have to say that I was pleasantly surprised by the show. I thought it was going to be just kind of like a British comedy, just something stupid. But it really was had so many it had dark humor in it, so don't get me wrong, it was funny at parts, but it was so in depth. Like there was so many issues that it talked about that they're issues that you don't usually see from, for one, a male's perspective, because this is a stalking case from, a woman stalking a man, not a man stalking a woman. So
Mhm.
it's not only different because of how, the man processes this stalking, but how the authorities actually, act when they find out, when it is reported. You know what I mean?
Right.
And anywho, the show, it's about Donnie. He's a comedian, a bartender. In the show, he's not very, famous or successful at the time. He meets a girl named Martha, a woman named Martha, and they start talking. He offers her a cup of tea because when she comes in, she's like super sad. He offers her a cup of tea, and they start talking because they're both from Scotland. So they just start talking. Um, then she basically starts stalking him over and over, over and over,
Forever and
and
ever.
forever and ever and ever and ever. But that's the show. Basically the show. I don't want to spoil it for you. I don't want to give you a lot of, things about it, because then if you go watch it, you're gonna know everything. The true story, however, begins in 2014. And that's when Fiona, which is the person that they found out was Martha from the show, she walks into this pub. It's called the Holly
Sorry,
Arms.
how did they find out?
They found out because the messages in the show, they show like the some of the messages that or tweets that Fiona was posting to Richard Gadd.
Okay.
So it was fairly easy to find her. All you had to do is kind of go to his page and find find something about meat curtains. You know what I mean?
Got it.
But I'm gonna here put a picture of both of them. That's Fiona Harvey. And then this is Richard Gadd. He actually wrote, produced, and starred in the show.
Okay.
So he's a really good actor. I was pleasantly surprised by him. And that's the Holly Arms pub, which is where they met.
That's
So
where the tea happened, right?
that's where the tea happened. That's where all the tea happened. So she walks in. He feels, she seems to be having a bad day, and Richard, comes up to her and offers her a cup of tea. Um, she says that she was there for lunch, and that he just started talking to her. But he says that he offered her, and this is in the deposition, not in the deposition, but in the court documents. He states that he offered her a cup of tea. So I'm gonna say that this is factual because if not, I mean, I don't think he would lie in a court document,
Right.
right? So he offers her a cup of tea. They kind of same thing as the show. They know he notices her accent and notices that she's from Scotland as well. This pub is in London, so they're away from home, and they start talking. And at first, she seems completely harmless. I mean, she seems a little cuckoo, but she seems completely harmless, right? I mean, she might have some delusions of grandeur when they meet, talking about politicians
Yeah,
and
she
stuff.
brags about a lot of stuff when they first meet.
Yeah, she does. But, he's like, you know, whatever. But then she starts showing up every day. Every day that he's working, she shows up and she just sits at the bar and just looks at him and occasionally talks to him. He did say in the court documents as well that sometimes she would just walk into the bar, say something, and then leave. So just walk in, say hi, and
That
then
that's almost childlike behavior, but continue.
but I shall continue. Following that first meeting, like I said, she started frequently appearing. And then it got to the point where he was actually hiding away from her. So he would hide in the basement or in the attic of the bar when she when he knew she was coming in. Um and because it was just really
I
uncomfortable.
don't mean I just that's the kind of thing that like drug dealers do is hide from the police in the basement or the attic. Like poor Richard.
And she actually started becoming like a joke around the bar, right? Because you know she was like a fangirl. She was always around him, always flirting with him, always just making sexual innuendo. And to be honest with you, sometimes he responded, and he responded because he didn't know what else to do. And also he was flattered. He was flattered because Richard at this point in time was in a pretty dark place.
Right.
um he was in a pretty dark place, and he previously in 2012, before going to dramatic art school, had gone to the French festival in in Edinburgh, and there he met a mysterious producer that nobody knows anything about. I mean,
And everyone keeps
everybody.
falsely accusing the wrong person.
Yes, actually, they say that everybody knows, and everybody in the industry knows who he is,
Right. So all the comedians in the industry know who this guy is, but nobody will give it up.
and nobody
Which
will
makes
report
it
him.
really high in some kind of, comedy industry hierarchy for them to feel like they can't say who it is.
Exactly. But so he meets this guy. He's doing a show over there, and Richard is, and meets him at a bar. And this guy starts helping him with his show. Now Richard feels a bond with this person. And it's not like I'm interested in you because I'm gay bond. It's just like a bond, like he admires this person. And one day the French festival is over. This guy leaves him his number, but just disappears. And then he goes back to London. Now in London, this guy contacts them again and says, hey, I would like you to write a script for me. And Richard gets really, really freaking excited because this is the opportunity that he's always been wanting, right? So he goes to his apartment. They meet. They meet again. Richard shows him the script, and he's like, "This is great. Do you want to do some cocaine?" you know. So it starts with
Never
cocaine.
how my boss works. I'm not sure what's going on. Like none of my bosses have ever been that friendly to me.
Never? You've never, like, given them a report and they're like, "Hey, you wanna smoke some weed?" No? Never?
Well, maybe not. Well, maybe. I don't know. I can't. I don't want to disclose that information. That person might still be in management.
Oh god. But anyways, it starts with, just some cocaine and some what I'm guessing is ayahuasca. It's some liquid that he gives them to drink. You know
What would
ayahuasca?
ayahuasca be? Would that be like similar to acid or LSD?
I mean, ayahuasca is kinda like a spiritual, like, drink, right? It makes you not, like, go to a different realm. I guess I've never done ayahuasca, so I have actually
So
no
it's
clue.
so it's liquid.
It's liquid. But anyways, they start like that, and every time they meet, it just he introduces different drugs like, crack, or
Normal
heroin,
things, you know.
just normal things.
No way he should think that he's turning him into a drug addict or anything.
No, not at all. But every time that he goes to his apartment, he notices that he passes out, and then when he wakes up, he'll have, like, saliva in his genitals, or he will remember things that have happened when he was unconscious, until
But I don't think he actually realized what was going on until the point that he got in the shower after a really bad pass out, and, his bum area was hurting really bad.
yeah, no, but I actually I disagree. I think he did realize it, but he kept coming back, and I think the reason he kept coming back is because the producer kept dangling, like, Richard's dream in front of him.
Right, right. No, absolutely. But I don't think he really realized that he was like, even maybe he didn't feel like it was the R word prior to.
Prior to.
Um, right. But then at that moment, because I don't know if you remember, but and maybe I'm wrong, but after that moment, he didn't go back.
Mm. No, he didn't go back. After that moment, he didn't go back. Like, that shit fucked him up, like, really, really, really badly, to the
Hmm.
point where he was unsure. He started having feelings towards men. Now he's not sure if that's because of the rape or because he's always been like this. Like, he himself said, "I miss who I was before this happened."
Yep.
And one of his shows, which is Monkey See, Monkey Do, the one that went viral, the monkey is like a figurative monkey, right? That's, always at you, like, coming at you. Um, he says that one of the things that he regrets the most is thinking that what happened made him less than a man.
And I'm sure that's how a lot of people feel. Because as a female, that's what we feel. You
Yeah,
know, we
and
we feel disgusted and dirty, and I can relate.
yeah, no, he felt like he's been effeminated somehow. He's no longer a man. He doesn't know who he is. And he also thought maybe, if I run enough, if I eat healthy enough, if I just push this down, it if I push this down, it will go away.
Right.
Because he never reported the producer. He just kind of disappeared and was deeply mentally struggling with all of this, with self-esteem. So when Fiona comes into the bar and she starts saying things like, "You have a nice bum. You have the best bum in the world. Um, you remind me of my baby reindeer toy from when I was a kid because you have big eyes and big lips, cute wee bum." you know he was flattered. So that's why at first he didn't really push her away, because she saw him how he wanted to be seen. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? So, but this only fed into her delusion, because
Mm.
by him feeding into what she was saying and what she was doing, she started believing that they were in an actual relationship. Let me remove this because I think you guys have seen both Richard and Fiona, um, quite quite enough.
Well, and the sucky part is even at moments that he tried to be like, "Hey, we're just friends," she would get angry and he would back down.
Yeah, he would back down.
So so it was one of those things where it's like, How many times as a female have you thought, no, I'm not asking a question, this is rhetorical. But how
Mhm.
many times as a female have you thought after you've been going on multiple dates with someone and you've been staying the night with them and everything's been going great, have you gone, "Oh, yeah, that's my boyfriend," and then he'd be like, "Nah, we're just friends?" And it's kinda like, we weren't just friends last night, you
You're
know?
my
So
boyfriend now.
right. Well, and that's why part of me kinda feels her, man, like, because, I mean, how do you distinguish?
Now, I will say that the show made her way more sympathetic than, and I had some sympathy for her. The show made her to be very sympathetic. It did not make her out to be a villain. But I will tell you that after reading all the emails from the court case yesterday, I have any sympathy that I might have had for this woman went out the fucking door because this bitch is crazy.
Well,
I have
and sorry, I know that you're still
n-
telling stuff, so I
n-
don't wanna jump into it,
no, no,
but
no.
there's,
Go
like,
ahead.
proof that she's crazy. It's not the first time she's done it.
Mm-mm, no, it's not the first time she's done it. So if we get into her, Miss Fiona Harvey, in 1997, after trying to, she did go to law school at Aberdeen University, and in 1997, she was looking after in England. After you go to law school, you have 2 years to find an apprenticeship in order to actually be able to practice law.
Okay.
So she had actually been trying to be an apprentice somewhere, but she had been like let go from everywhere
Mhm.
that she had tried to work at. And there was this Laura Gray, I think that's her name, Laura Gray. She started sending her email letters, not emails, because there was no email back then. So she started sending her letters. And Laura Gray actually says that it was such a familiar language that she felt like she knew this person. Like, we're both Scottish. I must know this woman. I know this woman. So, like when you meet someone, when you see someone and they act like they know you, and you're like, I don't know if I know this person, but you pretend that you know the person because
Because you don't wanna be rude or disrespectful.
exactly. So that's what happened to Laura Gray. And when she got engaged to her husband, obviously that's who she got engaged to.
That makes sense.
uh, Miss Harvey sends her a postcard saying, I'm hurt that you haven't called me in for an interview yet. And Miss Gray is like, okay, well, I'm sorry. Come in for an interview. So she comes in
Big
for an
mistake.
big fucking mistake. She comes in for an interview and she gets the job. Now, the job, what she was doing, because she is an intern and she's really learning, she wasn't practicing law like she claims. She was answering phone calls. So she would be on the phone, and when someone would call in with an accident, she would take that I've had an accident. I want to know what I can do, how I can proceed, blah blah blah. Like those lawyers you
Right,
see in
kinda
the
like
the commercial,
your calls, yep.
like Bill Green. Remember Bill Green?
So is you know who I remember? One call, that's all. Who was
I
that?
remember Bill Green. Call Bill
Was it
Green when you collide. Call 757 747
24? I think it's 2
2455.
yeah, I think it's 2455. So, and that's about to show all of you where the 2 of us met. So if you wanna figure out how me and Inoaji know each other, then do your research because we just told you a commercial.
Yes. And that shit, like, I don't remember my mom's number, but I'll remember that shit from like 20 years ago.
Yeah, no, if I get in an accident anywhere, I don't know why, but I'm calling Extreme Akeem because his phone number is nothing but 9, so it's really easy.
But anyways, it was one of these hotlines, right? People have an accident, they call in, and Fiona takes in their information, and then she's supposed to give that information to a solicitor. That was her job. 2 days after she starts working there, she goes and she tries to get an advance or her check from the cashier that they have at the law firm. And the cashier's like, no, ma'am, we can't do this. So the next day, She knows she's like super upset. She goes and Laura Gray's like, "What's wrong?" She's like, "Well, there's this man in the lobby that wants $250 from me. Well, pounds, sorry. £250 from me um because he fixed my car." And Laura Gray gives her the money out of her own personal money, out of her own pocket. Says, "Here, have that." And then she helps him out. She helps her out with like by going to the bank because she was like having some financial issues, whatnot. But it got to the point where she started realizing that when people would call in that hotline, Miss Fiona, instead of taking down the information and giving it to a solicitor, she would say, "Well, you don't want to come here."
She was driving away all the business.
"Let me give you the phone number of a different solicitor." Like this bitch.
She was secretly working for the enemy.
Yes, she also started like following male coworkers home. She threw a book across a room and hit somebody. So, needless to say, after 2 weeks of working there, she was fired. She was let go and paid for the entire month, right? Um, and then this not did not make Miss Harvey very happy. So she accused her and her husband of abusing their disabled 4-year-old child. And CPS was called. And so that was like a super traumatic experience for Miss Gray. But that was one of the first instances we know of Miss Harvey stalking somebody. This was, but it wasn't the only time, but it was one of the most documented instances of Harvey stalking somebody. She only stopped after Miss Gray got a harassment, like a restriction order, or what is it called? A restraining order.
Right, order of protection, what it
Order
changes
of
based on where we're
protection,
at.
and in the UK, it only lasts for like a year and a day, but Miss Harvey didn't know this. Fiona did not know this, so she kinda disappeared, and this was, I think, in 2002. So from 1997 to 2002, this woman was harassing, Laura Gray. Yeah, not quite a long
Does
time.
anyone know what happened to her in between that time and the time that she met Richard Gag?
Gag?
Gad?
What you think about, Amanda?
There's just too much going on.
Oh, what happened to her? No, there's very little information from like about her on the internet, which is surprising. Um, but anyway, she continued to appear at this man's bar. I feel like we've sidetracked a lot. I am sorry. I apologize. This is my first time telling the story. Kinda.
It's okay, we're not too bad.
Are we? Not too bad.
Keep going. I was about to play the many, many, many thing.
Anyways, in 2015, she's banned from the bar. They're tired of her shit, and this was after an incident where Richard got mad because she kept telling people that they were having sex and they were not having sex.
Right.
And then also disclosing, that people were making fun of his shows. And Richard got mad and said, "Yeah, well, you're on the news about you. There's news articles about you stalking Laura Gray. Stop stalking me." She walked out, walked back in, and then hit him in the neck. Walked behind the bar and then hit him in the neck. So after that
I don't
incident,
know why, but every time I hear that, all my brain can think is like karate chop. Straight to the neck. Throat punch.
so she hit him in the neck. She got kicked out in 2000, December 2015. That's when she started just waiting for him outside of the bar and also following him around the city and going to his shows. And
And
she
that
found
by
his
shows, she means like Richard did stand-up comedy all over the city to try to get his name out there because he wanted to not have to deal with that producer ever again.
yeah. No, I mean, he didn't do my type of comedy, but he wasn't bad. He wasn't as bad as he's presented in the show. Like people, he did get quite a few laughs. Um, but anyway, she got a hold of his email address and started sending emails constantly to the tune of, let me see here, 41,074
41,000.
emails.
Yep.
She also got a hold on his voicemail, of his phone number in March March of 2015, because he went on vacation to Croatia. When he went on vacation to Croatia, he put his email as kind of like a do not disturb. So it gives out
An
an
auto
automated
reply.
message, and then the auto reply, his phone number was at the bottom.
And so there it was 350 hours of voicemails.
350 hours.
I don't even like anybody that much. The average voicemail is like a minute and a half long max.
Yeah,
That's a lot of voicemails.
that is a lot of voicemails.
They
Not
didn't
only
know how
that,
to
but
block people back then.
I guess not. I mean, he tried. Richard
Was
did
that an
try, but
option?
yeah, I think, yeah, it was an
Only
option.
10 years ago.
It was only 10 years ago. Yeah. But if that's not it, she also sent him 744 tweets, 48 Facebook messages, and 106 letters, one of which included her panties, her
Yep.
lucky pants, as she calls them. But anyways, I mean, she went batshit crazy, and in 2016, it took him a while, but he finally went to the police. And the reason it took him a while is because he was having issues inside like his head, because he was like, this person is sick and I'm going to the police to report her, but the
Yep.
person that abused me, I shut my mouth. Like, it's such a, like, so ironic that he felt a lot
Well,
of,
and
he
I
was very
also
conflicted.
I don't know about other people, but after watching it, I feel like Richard knew that at moments he led her on.
Hmm.
And I think that he felt bad for that because he knew that he did it. And so that's why he wasn't reporting her at first. Because there were moments that he would make little jokes with her.
Yeah.
And that would make her feel like he cared or he wanted to be a part of her life. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't give her the right to send him, you know, a 41,000 emails, but I think that that's part of what kept him from going too is he knew that he logically led her on at some points.
Yeah, he did. But you want to know the first response that he got from the cops? And this is in court documents. So when he went the
What?
first time to report her, the cop tells him, well, if we send her something or contact her, it's just gonna get worse. So I think your best option here is if you go and give her the information needed and tell her that she needs to contact a psychiatric team.
As the police, isn't that your job?
That's what I was thinking. Like,
No, I'm not gonna talk to my stalker.
you want me to go to my stalker and tell her, I think I think you need a psychologist or a psychiatrist. I think you need something here. You need to leave me alone.
Here's the number for charter. Give him a call.
Yes, and this was in January of 2016, and then the entire year, what he started doing, because she kept persisting and persisting and persisting, with emails and tweets and all that stuff, which we're gonna show you in a minute. But he started cataloging all the emails, all
Mhm.
the all the voicemails. He started cataloging them so that he could send them in as evidence to the police, to have, to be able to have a restraining order against her, which he did get. He ended up getting a at the by the end of 2016, he got a restraining order against her, which did not stop her from sending him letters.
No, I mean, why would it? They were together in her eyes.
Yeah, they were together. In her eyes, they were together, and he was breaking her heart. Um, he he was I read one of the emails from the police officer back to him. He did have a chance to actually press charges, perhaps get her arrested, but he didn't want to. And I think that's because of the guilt that he felt internally. I think inside he
Well, and
felt
I think he felt guilty. And the only reason I keep bringing that up is because it's so typical that the abused become the abuser.
Hmm.
And I think a part of him knew that. Like, I really feel like in his body, he knew that he was leading her on at moments. And in those moments, I mean, what do you do? Because everybody's just trying to be friendly and cordial. But I've never just been polite to someone, said hello, and then they stalked me. I mean, I would have handled it a lot different than Richard. It would not have gone on as long as it did with him.
True, but I think the thing with her with him, I don't think he was flirting with her or anything, but I feel like she was so deprived of connection with someone that this man
But
that
so was
this
he.
he was, so was he. But I'm saying with her, from her point of view, when he said hello to her, um, I think that when started talking to her like she was just a normal person, I think she truly felt that, oh, he's talking to me like a normal person. He must be in love with me.
Oh, yeah, no, I think they both had mental issues.
Yeah, no, because she truly has illusions of grandeur. Like she thinks, I think she truly believes what she says.
So I watched a breakdown of, because so she did an interview at one
Hmm.
point, and I watched a psychologist break down her body movements through the interview. And the
Yeah,
psychologist said that you can tell by the fact that she tenses up and then she breathes and releases and then answers very quickly, that means that she is lying, but she believes her own lies.
yeah,
And so that right there tells you that is in her head.
it is. It is in her head. But the idea, the good thing that came out of this is actually Richard Gadd's dream did come true, because when he started documenting all the emails and everything, that led him to think, I should write a play about that. He already did Monkey See, Monkey Do, um, regarding the abuse that he had from the producer. So this inspired him to make a show and call it Baby Reindeer, which was his moniker from her to him. Right. And he debuted that show in 2019 in the Fringe Festival in Scotland. Um, yeah. And then COVID happened, et cetera, et cetera. And he had actually written a script for he's written an episode for Sex Education, the Netflix show
Okay.
Sex Education. I did not know that, but he contacted Netflix and just pitched them the idea, and then Netflix picked it up, went into production, and then it just aired this year, April 2024. And then we're here where everybody found this woman, which the show did, a honestly, in my opinion, a shitty job of hiding who she
I
was.
mean, listen, Martha and Fiona look the same.
They do.
And not exactly the same, but if Fiona was younger, she, in my opinion, she looked like Martha. Well, the
Yeah.
actress looked like Martha. And that actress did a phenomenal job of reacting and showing and acting as Fiona actually does. And I say that because when you watch Fiona's interviews, she really acts like how Martha acts, like kind of spaced out and just concentrating on it's almost like it takes her time to process.
Yeah,
She's in the interviews, and that's how Martha acted in the series.
it is. I feel like the only person that they've really concealed the identity of is the damn producer.
Well, in my opinion, that's because that producer's high enough to sue the crap out of them and has, has a lot more, no offense to Fiona, has a lot more to lose and a lot more at stake
Hmm.
than Fiona has, because her $170 million lawsuit to Netflix is ridiculous in my opinion. But
It is ridiculous. And that's because it says at the beginning, it says Richard Gadd said, well, Donnie says, this is a true story. But if you notice at the end of each episode, it actually does have the disclaimer that the characters, dialogue, etc., have been fictionalized. It's based on true events, but it is not.
But they shouldn't have
Well,
started the entire series with "This is a true story."
I know they only show it on the first episode, and I think that's because it's coming. It's like saying it's not like Richard saying that this is a true story. It's like Donnie saying this is a true story. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like it's like a
Yeah, they should
fictional
have done
true
that
story. I don't
different.
know if that they should have. Somebody should have been able to look around the corner and see that this was going to happen. You know what I mean? That she was going to sue them. But then again, she did self proclaim herself as the person there.
Right.
I
And
mean,
in my opinion, with Netflix, I guess the biggest situation for me wasn't even that this is a true story. It's as much as they say that they did everything they could to not release her identity, having the actress play how she played, putting out the actual, texts and emails and things like that for them to be able to
mhm,
find like the tweets. That led the world straight to Fiona. Fiona didn't just come out of nowhere and say, "Hey, it's me." She did that after she got death threats. And I'm not saying what she did to Richard was right. I'm just saying they could have done more to disclose her identity and not put her in a situation where she was getting death threats and things like that. However,
okay.
I'm also one of the firm believers in you reap what you sow.
And I think that's how you're gonna emails because you haven't seen them. You haven't seen them yet, and I'm telling you, this woman's the devil. She's
Well, I know she's crazy. Like nothing she writes makes sense.
no, nothing she writes makes sense. With the show, I do think I don't know. I think Netflix could have hidden the two people better because even the Miss Gray, the first stalking victim that we know of, um, she was pretty easy to find too. I mean, all you had to do is Google the article.
Right.
Um, that's it because they put. I mean, they put it on the show. Um, I don't know. I honestly I think Netflix might have covered their ass by putting at the end of each episode that characters are fictional. Fiona did know that the Baby Reindeer show was about her. And she knew that when it came out in 2019 in the Fringe Festival. She just didn't say shit because she didn't think it was going to blow up. Right. So I don't know. I don't know. The case, I mean, if she wins, I want somebody to make a show about me. And
Listen, if you stalk me, I'll make a show about you.
can you put this, make sure you put this as a true story and then don't put nothing else but lie, just
I'm
lie
gonna
a
the whole
lot.
time. And don't sue me, sue whoever we use it to stream it.
Yeah, exactly. So not maybe not Netflix because they're probably if they do lose the
Yeah, they'll catch
suit,
on.
they'll catch on. I don't
How
know.
about Hulu?
Hulu, there you go. Have Hulu produce it, and then I'll sue Hulu, and then we split the money. Oh
Got
wait,
it.
did I?
So we're gonna have to delete this episode, guys.
Yes, we are
I
going
just
to
told
have
everyone
to.
our plan.
Listen, I spent $10 on grapes the other day at the grocery store. I mean, I got to do something to make
Listen.
money here.
Oh, listen, I was like, is there a point to this story? Like, what does that have to do with baby reindeer? I was like, okay, great. I don't remember this scene. What is
No,
but no, now I know because that's why you need the money because grapes are $10 now.
yes, grapes are $10, at least in Safeway. But anywho, what I want to show you, what I want us to look at is some of the tweets actually. I'm
Okay.
gonna have you read them because I'm blind. Even with my glasses, I can't see nothing.
All right, let me make
So
my screen bigger. There we go.
okay. Just kidding. Uh,
All right. Fiona, I'm not going to keep reading the app, but at Mr. Richard Gadd, did you get my recorded delivery letter sent to you, sent to the theater, sent to arrive bank holiday Monday? That was on May 10th at 10:35. 3 minutes later at 10:38, she said, "Can you call me urgently anyway, whether or not you have that letter? Thanks. I've been locked out of Twitter, just back in." She talks to him on Twitter like she's in his inbox. Um,
Exactly.
just publicly. So then on June 12th, she says, "Your tweets cheer me up. I have not been able to get into Holly past 3 Saturdays. Your timeline is good."
That's because she was fucking kicked out. No, actually, this is in
Oh,
no, she hadn't been kicked out yet. This is 2014. She got kicked out in December of 2015,
I don't
I
remember.
think.
Yeah, I think it was 2015 that she got kicked out.
Yeah.
But either way, this was in June. So she would have still been able to get in there. She's just saying she couldn't. Um, all right. So then July 2nd, spoke to Craig Friday. He gave me a different version of what we spoke about 2 Saturdays ago. I'm upset. Read. I don't know what the read is, guys. Um,
Me neither. Is it? She's trying to say read it, but I mean, I don't know what other
I thought
options
she
besides
was saying
reading it.
I'm upset, right?
Oh, right, right.
But I'm not sure. Her spelling is sometimes really good and sometimes really bad. So I don't really know.
You want to know something really funny? Because in the show, it was not actually really funny. It's just a cute. It's just an anecdote. In the show, she misspells iPhone all the time,
Right.
and all the emails that I've read, and I've read a lot of emails. I spent all night yet last night reading emails. Not once did she misspell iPhone. She misspelled everything else.
Listen,
But
that's because listen, and I don't know if you're remembering this, but you don't type out the sent from iPhone. It automatically shows up when you respond from your iPhone. Like mine shows up sent from Android because iPhones are stupid. Personal opinion, not fighting with y'all guys about it. But yeah, mine will say responding from Android or responding from mobile device.
yeah, but she was sending an email, and she didn't have an
But she was
iPhone.
doing, but she had something.
Well, she was
I
sending
don't
it
think
from
she
an
was
email.
typing it.
I don't know, but she was saying send from my iPhone. That is true. It said my iPhone. It doesn't.
We'll
I
look
don't
at the
know.
letters in a second.
Okay, yeah.
Um,
Continue.
July 5th, she said, "I can't work this account very well, so don't know who is following and who not. I now have a lovely new cooker. One thing done." Okay. July 21st. One of these cafe places has just gone on fire in Camden near Castle Haven Road. We know it was you. Hope you are well.
I hope he escaped the fire, right? I mean, but that shit, if anybody, if listen, Richard should take her to court for that shit because
Right.
she's
She
scared.
accused him of arson, right?
Yeah, yeah, I think arson is the correct
Is that
terminology.
the word?
Yes,
If
but
not,
this
she accused him of fire starting.
fire starting, yes, and then
December 18th of 2014. She had said, "Please go and see Richard Gadd's show. It's well written and neurotic. The filmed bum shots are the best. Fantastic ass." And then September 23rd, she said, "At Mr. Richard Gadd, my curtains need hung badly." Yeah. And then September 1st, she said, "Did you get my emails or am I emailing the wrong address? Thanks. You can let me know."
the 41,000 emails that I get them, this bitch. Listen,
Nope, haven't gotten one.
I'm gonna start a curtains need hung badly thing as a pickup line.
Like a hashtag.
Yes.
"Hey,
Hashtag.
sir, what are you doing tonight? My curtains need to be hung." You gotta think of something besides curtains.
Yeah, that's kind of
"Oh, hang
nasty
your
though.
curtains."
I feel like the visual is kind of and I'm not saying that,
I don't know why, but when I think about her saying that, it just in my throat because I don't want to. No, can we go to the next slide?
there are no more slides. I do want to I thought this was so funny from she did an interview. She did an interview at Piers
Morgan,
Morgan
right?
show. Yeah, Piers Morgan show. She did an interview, and I mean, I found her to sound very narcissistic. I found her to just be actually really arrogant at times. I
Right.
I thought it was really funny when he asked her about her grades, right? And she says, "Well, I'm really smart. I have a photo. I was gonna say photogenic. Photogenic. That's the right word, right? Photogenic
Yes.
memory. Yeah. Is it? Is it
Hold
photogenic?
on. He has a photo. I don't know. Move forward.
Yeah, you know what I mean, right? A photogenic. So she sees something, she instantly like remembers it, right? With
Right.
that's what that means, or at least that's what that means now.
I think it's like an iodinic memory. But go ahead.
Yeah. Well, she has a photogenic memory. That's what we're gonna call it. And then he asked her, "Well, what grades did you get?" She's like, "Well, I don't remember."
Well, that's
Um,
like the first day that she came into the pub. She was like, she said she was there for lunch. He says that she had no money. Like he was like, "You want some tea?" And she's like, "I don't got no money." And so he gave her a tea on the house. And then she's like, "I'm a huge lawyer. I work for all these people. I have houses here and houses there, and I do all this stuff
yes, she is
with no
actually never
money."
practiced. She's never practiced law. She has gone to law school. I have a theory here because I'm sorry, but I don't. If I got a lawyer and I was corresponding with this lawyer and they send me back an email and the typing fashion that this woman sends emails with all the misspelled words, I would fire her. I don't actually think. I think she went to college. I think the professors started getting stalked. They got tired of her shit and they just handed her a diploma and they were like, "Here, leave." I
But
honestly
listen, the other side of that is, regardless, she's not dumb.
no.
Her spelling might be horrible, but that's why computers have spell check.
No, but this is beyond spell check. Like I
But
don't
I'm
know.
saying when she was writing reports and stuff like that for school, she probably just used her spell checker to fix things, and that's how
No, they
she passed.
didn't.
She can't.
Or did they? I mean, when she went to school, because
What year was that?
1997 is when she got hired at Miss Gray's law firm.
So around
Um,
1995.
not, she had been 4 years without an internship because she had asked for an extension because nobody would hire her as an intern. So 7 minus 4, it's 1993. So 1993 is when she would have graduated. So 1993, I mean, computers weren't, I
They
mean, were
weren't really
they?
a thing.
No,
No,
they
so they
weren't.
they came out. Yeah, they came out around then. I remember as a child getting our first computer with that tiny behind screen and that big old monitor.
Yeah.
Um, but so yeah, if computers weren't around, I mean, she hand wrote everything.
Then that makes even more sense because I've read some of her handwriting and I tell you, I have no clue what the
That's
fuck she's
no,
saying.
I would have passed her too because I don't get it. I sat on here last night trying to with I know a G trying to figure out what one letter said. Like we were it was horrible. Like we were back and forth guessing. I swore she was talking about feet. I know I thought she was talking about something else. And we just couldn't figure out for the life of us what was going on in this little piece of it wasn't even a whole letter. It was like two sentences.
Yeah. No, it was turns out that it said my lucky pants because that was the
Right,
letter that
but we didn't even figure that out when we were like, reading the letter. We figured that out later.
later. Yeah. Um so I feel like the her professors probably just handed her the diploma and said, "Please leave. Bye,
Yeah,
Felicia." Just kidding. They probably didn't call her Felicia. Bye, Fiona. Um but
that sounded
anyways,
so
I
saying instead of Felicia.
yeah, bye, Fiona.
Bye, Fiona.
Mhm. I'm gonna go ahead and let's watch the clip from Pierce Morgan where he asked her, were you in love with Mr. Richard Gadd?
He has said that he led you on, and he clearly
I gave him the
was.
brush off. He asked me to sleep with him with a big green spot in his face one day. I said, no, I'm sorry, I'm not interested.
He asked you to do what?
He asked me to sleep with him. He said, "Would I like my curtains fixed?" And I laughed. And he said, "That's a euphemism. Do you want me to come home with you?" And I said, "I've got a boyfriend." I gave him the brush off big time, I think. You know,
Why?
subtly so, but the bottom line
You
is,
didn't
I think
fancy
this is
him?
behind him. No, I don't fancy him. I don't fancy little boys without jobs. That sounds awful. That sounds really, really callous, but, you know.
I don't fancy little boys without
Without
jobs.
jobs.
Without jobs.
But he had a job at the pub
At the pub. I mean, she was the one that
where
was
she met
unemployed
him,
and couldn't she couldn't afford a cup of tea, but
and he
I don't
did
fancy
not. He did not ask to fix her curtains.
mm-mm.
He made a joke when something else was said. So y'all really got to go watch the series to understand what we're saying. It's definitely worth the watch. I binge watched it because I couldn't put it down. I was just
Amanda,
like,
are
wait, what's
you
happening next?
excuse me, I have a question here. Are you insinuating that my storytelling did not explain to them what the show was about? Huh?
No, I'm insinuating that if we explain any more, then we're going to give up the show.
You're lucky I love you. Because if not, I would be hurt.
Listen, don't start that because you're gonna mess around and end up one of my cases on here, okay? I'm so
Oh,
sorry, guys. I know a G has disappeared.
okay, so she says in this interview, I don't like little boys without jobs. You know, she's not into Richard Gad at all. Correct?
At
Well,
all. Nope, she's not into him.
exhibit number 1. To be honest, it's up to you, but I want to suck your cock all day and have you shag me and have a stab at this. It's totally up to you. I need to get this place sorted out and fuckloads of work to do. Sent from my iPhone. So if you're not into wee little
And if y'all
boys
notice
without
at the
jobs,
top, this gives you the case number. This is a document number. This was submitted to the court system.
yeah, this was a part of the exhibits from the evidence, which was just dropped on the 30th of last month. So this was like, oh, this gave so much information and so much insight into what actual Richard went through. Because there's tons and tons and tons of emails. Like I think I put up here 8 for you, Amanda, for everyone to watch. But let's go to the next one because the next one says worst feeling when sanitary towels Chad with skin, I'm guessing.
I think it's Chad versus Skin.
Chad versus skin. Like a
And it's,
movie.
I don't think that she means Chad there.
I think she means chafe.
Me too. Me too. Okay, so we're
Yeah.
thinking the same.
So worst feeling ever when sanitary towels chafe with skin. That's what I'm gonna say. Have become allergic to tampons. Though for 2 days, chaff. Sent from my iPhone.
These
If
are
you,
such weird emails. Like, listen, I've been in a stable relationship for 4 years, and I don't think I'd ever say this to my live-in boyfriend. So the fact that she's emailing this stuff to people.
yeah, well, to Richard, like, why does Richard want to know or need to know this? Like, if you're into someone, okay, so say I meet someone and I'm into them and I want them to like me. I don't tell them that I got a shaved pussy.
Right.
Like, and that I'm allergic to tampons. Like it just that's not what I do. Like I don't.
To me, it sounds like, what is that disease that people get if they use tampons? The shock syndrome thing.
Mhm.
It sounds
Maybe
to me like maybe that's what happened, and she just doesn't. She didn't understand back then how to deal with it.
I don't know. But
Um,
wait, there's more. Can you read this one? Because I'm blind.
yes.
Can you see that?
I was sitting at the thing at a Holiday Inn, suddenly realized Scott Caputro, I'm horrible with names, y'all, sorry, was not on these folk, had canceled at 8:30, and I thought, "Whist the fuck am I going here, spare prick at the wedding?" Listen, y'all. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. I had seen you up doing lighting or and thought, oh fuck, what's he doing here? Do I talk to him? I'm not organizing stuff ever again where folk do a no show. It's so mortifying. I walked home not exactly in a straight line. Okay. I was still angry, and it was only the next day I felt violently sick. I thought I haven't had enough to drink to feel this sick. Then heavy bleeding started Monday. My tits and tummy were looking 6 months pregnant last week, but I thought, "Oh, I'm just being a woman." It's an effing nightmare. Oh, work understanding and some I could find to do from home. But Voss was at home. Could you see how much I was bleeding? Just an effing nightmare. And you probably still have me on block and aren't getting my emails. Fuck knows. Is this my life? Sent from my iPhone. I don't even understand exactly what's going on.
Me neither. I'm wondering because there was this one time where she showed up at one of his shows, and the producer of the show told everyone in the audience, "Hey, we're gonna say that we canceled the show, but we're not. Come back in 10 minutes." They told everyone except Fiona. So Fiona thought that they had canceled the show, and she went outside. Maybe that's why she was walking home. Maybe I don't know. I
She's
don't know.
walking home
Maybe
not in a straight line.
not in a straight line.
It's very specific.
Very
All right,
yes.
bring on the next email.
The next email.
I've masturbated and looked at photos of cute babies. That is weird.
So
Now I'm
fucking
going to
weird.
have a drink so I can cope when they tell me the wee poison dwarf has won. What? I've done everything possible to calm me down. Sent from my iPhone. What does that mean? I'm sorry.
I-
I'm dropping stuff. My whole microphone just fell because I don't understand. I don't understand
Oh,
what it means. First off, looking at cute photos of babies, somebody needs to arrest her. Freaking pervert.
looking at cute photos of babies and I masturbated should not be in the same fucking sentence.
Well, right. And then she goes on to say, I'm going to have a drink so I can cope when they tell me the wee poison dwarf has won. What does that mean?
Okay, so she has this delusion that she somehow has some control of politics and parliament. Like she actually wanted to run for parliament and Scottish government, which please nobody give her a job.
I
Please.
can't say much. I mean, look at our presidential nominees.
Even listen, I'd even vote for Trump over Fiona, and
Listen, I will too.
that says a lot. So I mean, I don't know. The poisoned dwarf, I think, is one of the candidates that was running some sort of election for some
So
sort of
she
seat.
lost to the dwarf. That actually makes me happy.
Well,
I knew that Snow White sidekicks would go. That's horrible, Amanda.
well, she needed to drink so that she could cope with, the poisoned dwarf winning, which is her nickname. I feel like that is such a cute, like, insult for someone. Like, like my daughter, maybe I could call her, a poisoned dwarf.
Your daughter is a poison dwarf.
Come here, poison dwarf.
It's fine. Her daughter will just call her a chicken nugget. She wouldn't even be upset.
No, she calls everyone a chicken nugget. But okay, next one. Fed up with highlight of my day being masturbating. I mean, I like masturbating, but period. Sent from my iPhone.
I, j-
Why?
I feel like we live in a day and age where we can be really open with each other and really honest with each other about things.
Mhm.
And I am a very open book in my current relationship because after past relationships, I decided, hey, I'm going to be me. And I'm off the wall, y'all. I seem really calm on here sometimes, except I talk with my hands too much and stuff, and I knock my mics over and stuff. So, but I don't think I'm ever going to be comfortable enough in my relationship to just be like, fed up with the highlight of my day being masturbating. I mean, I like masturbating, but I'm not that brave.
And that's you being in a relationship, but this woman's not even in a relationship with this person. Like they're not together.
Which is
So
really scary.
it is really scary because okay, we're laughing and I'm laughing and it's funny. And it's funny because it's coming from a woman to a man. But if this message was coming from a man to a woman, it would be taken way more seriously and it wouldn't be as funny.
Right.
And that's true. I mean, they're still funny, but I am aware of the double standard here.
There's always
Okay,
a double standard. Go ahead.
there is. The next one. This blood loss is excessive. Sounds gruesome, but I should have kept it all in a jar to show the doctor. Sent from my iPhone.
Now, I do want to say this. She's a very heavy set woman. And I think she's always been a heavy set woman. So they say that when you are carrying a lot of weight, you will have very harsh periods.
Hmm.
I don't know how true that is. I don't have to do that stuff anymore. So I don't know. But, she is not very, but she is a heavy set woman.
Yeah.
So if she was heavy set back then, it would make sense that she. Anyway, can we go to the next one? I don't want to see this one no more. It makes my stomach grow. Yes, I'm clotting badly. I think we can safely say I'm not menopausal, babe. XX sent from my iPhone. He doesn't
Why?
care.
He really doesn't. I mean, I don't think anybody cares really. I don't understand. And there's this one which I think is the last one.
I was going to come see your show at Harrison's Bar. I came over all tired at 5 and had already been in Camden and King's Cross yesterday morning. Got sunburnt, but was very sick. Then diarrhea later. That is a horrible spelling of diarrhea. Had to nap. It's a bug or acid reflux or sunstroke. I can't stand all the bloody foreigners in the streets this time of year, but I was genuinely sick. I did so much. Want to see it and let you fuck my brains out. Or brains put. Sent from iPhone.
Yep. And I think that's the last no, there's one more.
Can I just say before I go out again, I can't stand this gay business. I could say I think Julia Roberts is quite beautiful, but I'm not going to go down on her now, am I? It makes me squirm, actually. Gay women, come on to me. I can't stand it. Yuck, yuck. Sent from my iPhone.
Yes, gay
Hey,
women.
nobody came on to her.
Nobody fucking came on to her. Nobody.
No, they're
But
making
gay women.
that up. I said they're making that up, but she is.
She's making that up. And I mean, there's so many freaking emails. There's some that I didn't put because she was like outright racist.
Right.
Like wanting entire ethnicities to be strung by the balls, as she says in her emails. Like, this is what made me completely lose any type of sympathy that I had for her. The fact that she is that obviously a homophobe. She is obviously racist and proud of it. And I mean, last but not least, she's a stalker. So
Nah, you can't prove it.
will she win the $170 million? I'm actually really curious to know. Netflix is putting a motion to dismiss, to dismiss the case entirely.
Yeah, I actually read those documents, and I think that they have a good case. I mean, I don't know. It goes both ways for me. I'm curious how it's going to come out. But y'all, just so you know, we're going to keep following this case. and we're going to update you as you know, whenever we have more information, we will always make sure that y'all are the first to know. It'll go straight onto all of our platforms. Depending on when we get the information, we may upload a quick video. But I want y'all to know that you'll definitely get more information from us about this as time goes on. As far as Baby Reindeer, it's a good series. Go watch it. And it's based on a true story. It's not a true story.
Yep. Don't
And
watch it with children. Don't watch it
no,
with
no, this
children.
is a you need to watch in your bedroom, not in the living room kind of show.
Yes, especially episode, I think is 6, episode 6.
And that's the biggest thing to remember is if you don't know the full story, we'll tell it to you. You know, but we're going to tell it to you straight. We're going to go on both sides. I know that Fiona has a fan club. And I know
She
that they
does.
go hard and attack people. I want to get on Fiona's level, man. I don't know. I don't care what nobody says. I want a fan club.
Listen, Fiona has a fan club, and I just want to say that she has created several Facebook accounts. If you look at her fan
Several.
club, several Facebook accounts, and she is posting as support for herself as with other names. You know what I mean?
So she's not just a stalker. But that's the thing is she makes up these lies. I'll tell y'all what. Go watch Baby Reindeer and then go watch Fiona's interview,
Mm-hmm.
and you're gonna be like, because her body language is absolutely horrible. And on YouTube, you can find the same psychology video that I watched, where they talk about her body language and her certain points where she becomes very professional. But that's right on YouTube also. Do you have anything you want to add before we end this tonight?
No, I just spilled coffee all over my face.
Live. She did it live, y'all, just for y'all. I knew that she can't help it. She don't know where her mouth is.
Are you hitting on me?
Yeah, girl.
Is that sexual innuendo I hear?
I'm trying to hang them curtains.
That is so fucking nasty. It sounds so nasty.
I
However,
know it sounds horrible.
she actually said meat curtains at one point.
That
Meat
just makes
curtains.
me. I don't know why it reminds me of an Arby's roast beef sandwich. I can't.
Oh God. Okay.
All right. Well, this is the end of episode 1. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow on all of our platforms. We
All
will
of them.
send out a little, we're going to send out a little reminder about the episode and kind of list out the platforms for y'all. So y'all will see that just here in a couple hours. And don't forget that our live will turn into a recording and be on all these platforms also. So we'll see you next week.
What she said. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.